There's a kind of calm people notice in you, that quiet way you stay steady even when everything feels messy. And maybe you don't think much of it, maybe you've just gotten used to holding yourself together. But if you're honest, you know this calm didn't come from having an easy life. It came from surviving things that shaped you. You learned early that losing control only made things worse, so you built your calm like a reflex. And when I talk about people who are always calm, I'm not talking about strangers. I'm talking about people like us. The ones who had to grow up a little too fast on the inside. Psychologists call this response flexibility, that ability to pause before reacting. Studies from Harvard's Center for Emotional Intelligence show that people who stay calm under pressure usually learned it after dealing with emotional overload for years. Eventually, the brain adapts. The part that panics quiets down, and the part that thinks clearly steps in. But we didn't learn it from books. We learned it from situations where reacting would only make things harder. So staying calm became our way of surviving, not just a personality trait. Carl Jung said something that hits close to home. What you suppress will shape your life. And it's true. A lot of our calm didn't come from peace. It came from holding things in, anger, fear, confusion, because showing them never felt safe. So we became the strong one, the steady one, the one who doesn't break easily. But inside, we know it's not that we don't feel, it's that we've learned to feel quietly. And here's the part most people miss. Being calm all the time is heavy. People rely on you, but rarely check on you. They see your calm, not the work it takes to stay that way. But maybe that's why you're here, because something in you wants to understand this calmness better, to figure out where it came from and what it's costing you. So today, we're going to explore the psychology behind people like us, not to blame the past, but to finally understand it and maybe heal a little from it. People usually think calm people were just born that way, like they came into the world already patient and steady. But if you look a little closer, most calm people didn't start calm. They became calm over time. And the story behind that calm says a lot about what they've had to carry. For many of us, this calm didn't come from meditation, wellness routines, or inspirational books. It came from nights no one knows about. From moments where falling apart simply wasn't an option. Calm wasn't a personality trait. It was something we learned because we didn't have a choice. Psychologists call this adaptive emotional regulation. Basically, the calm you have today is built from everything you had to manage quietly while growing up. Maybe you were the one trying to keep peace in the house. Maybe you didn't want to add stress to people who were already overwhelmed. Or maybe you learned early that your emotions weren't welcome, that you were too much, too sensitive, or wrong timing, so you adjusted. You toned yourself down. You stayed steady even when your chest felt tight. There's a study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison showing that kids who grow up in emotionally unpredictable environments develop stronger activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that manages control, and weaker activity in the amygdala, the part that triggers strong emotional reactions. In simple terms, the brain learns to stay calm because reacting only made things worse. So the calm people show on the outside might look strong, but on the inside, it often started as survival. And if we're honest, a lot of us understand that. We didn't learn deep breathing because we wanted to be spiritual. We learned it because raising our voice never changed anything. We didn't learn patience because we're naturally peaceful. We learned it because impatience used to lead to conflict, and conflict felt risky. Many of us aren't calm because life has been easy. We're calm because we had to hold ourselves together. But here's the thing. Over time, that survival-based calm can shift into something healthier. When you've seen enough storms, small problems don't shake you as much. When you've lived through real chaos, minor inconveniences don't feel like emergencies. Little by little, You develop what psychologists call emotional wisdom. It's not that things don't hurt anymore. You just know what's worth reacting to and what isn't. People on the outside often mistake this for natural calm. They don't see the overthinking behind your quiet face. They don't see the childhood patterns built into your nervous system. They don't know your calm comes from knowing you've already survived worse. Sometimes that feels empowering. Other times it hits you. You had to grow strong way too early. But here's the hopeful part. Once you understand where your calmness came from, you can rebuild it in a better way. You don't have to stay calm because you're scared. You can learn to be calm because you're clear, grounded, and connected to yourself. Your calm can come from peace, not pressure. And when healing starts, your calmness stops being armor and becomes something that actually belongs to you. I know how some people just explode the second something stressful happens. One wrong tone, one small mistake, one unexpected change, and boom, they react instantly. But calm people don't do that. Not because they're saints or because they don't care. Calm people actually feel everything, they just don't show it the moment it hits. It's like their brain has this tiny little moment where it says, hold on, wait, before anything comes out. And weirdly, that tiny pause is what keeps things from getting messy. Other people see it as self-control, but for calm people, it's really just a habit life taught them. Psychologists call that little pause response latency. Basically, the gap between feeling something and reacting to it. Think of it like a built-in buffer. Most people go straight from emotion reaction, but calm people go emotion, pause, response. And honestly, most of us didn't practice this on purpose. Life trained it into us. Maybe you had to think before you spoke because reacting quickly only made things worse. Maybe staying quiet kept things safer. Maybe you were just tired of useless arguments. Over time, the pause became automatic. There's actually a study from Harvard's Center for Brain Science showing that people who rely on emotional regulation, whether they learned it from experience or formal practice, develop stronger connections between the amygdala, the freak-out center, and the prefrontal cortex. Stronger connections mean the brain gets better at catching emotional impulses before they take over. So no calm people aren't calm because they don't feel anything. Their brain just gets really good at pressing the brakes before emotions run wild. But here's what no one sees. Being calm on the outside doesn't always mean you're calm on the inside. A lot of calm people do their real reacting later, quietly, when they're alone. Maybe you've been there. You stay composed in the moment, but later that night you replay every detail, wondering if you said the right thing, if you held too much in, if you should have spoken up. People praise your peace, but they don't see the overthinking that shows up once everything's over. And honestly, many of us didn't become calm because life was gentle. We became calm because reacting felt unsafe, or pointless, or exhausting. We learned to read the room before speaking. We learned that staying steady kept things from blowing up. Calmness became our protection, not our personality. It wasn't about being mature. It was about surviving situations where our emotions had no place. But with time, that survival calm turns into something a little wiser. When you're used to pausing before reacting, you start noticing things other people miss. You pick up tone, you notice patterns, you understand the emotion behind someone's behavior. And while other people jump to conclusions, calm people take a step back and think, okay, what's actually happening here? It's not coldness, it's awareness. And that awareness becomes real strength. Because eventually, you're not pausing because you're scared of conflict anymore. You're pausing because you prefer clarity. You prefer peace. You prefer responding instead of reacting. That's when calmness stops feeling like a mask you had to wear, and starts feeling like a skill you're proud to own. You know what's funny? People look at calm folks and think, wow, nothing ever gets to them. But the truth is, calm people just don't fall apart in public. Maybe you know that feeling. You're the steady one when things go wrong. You're the one helping others breathe. You're the one keeping things smooth. But when the day is over and you're finally alone, that's when everything hits. It's like your feelings show up late, after everyone else is gone. A lot of us learnt this way of staying calm when we were young. Maybe someone in the family was too emotional, so you had to be the stable one. Maybe arguments got scary, so staying quiet felt safer. Maybe you didn't want to make things worse, so you held it all in. And now, even as an adult, that habit is still there. You stay polite, you stay reasonable, you swallow reactions before they show. People might tell you you're so mature, but they don't see how tiring it gets. And honestly, being the calm one can feel really lonely. Not because you want attention or drama, but because people stop checking on you. They assume you're fine because you look fine. They forget that even calm people have limits. They don't see the moments when you wish someone would ask, "Hey, are you okay?" It's strange. You're there for everyone, but very few people think you might need the same thing. You might relate to this part. When something stressful happens, you go straight into fix-it mode. You think clearly, you keep your voice normal, you try to solve the problem. But later, maybe at night, maybe in the shower, the emotions finally catch up. You replay the conversation, you overthink what you said, you feel the stress that you ignored earlier. That's the hidden cost of staying calm all the time. The world sees you're quiet, but only you feel the weight underneath. And there's a simple reason many of us act this way. Showing emotions didn't always feel safe. Maybe you were told, don't be dramatic. Maybe your feelings were brushed off. Maybe expressing anything only made things worse. So you learned to deal with stuff inside your own head. You became the person who keeps everything together, even when you're struggling. But here's the other side of it. That calmness also means you've built real strength without even realizing it. You know how to stay clear-headed when people around you are losing control. You can read situations faster than others. You notice tone, mood, tension, all the small things most people miss. That's not weakness. That's a skill, a very rare one. Still, the real healing starts when you learn that you don't always have to carry everything alone. It's okay to let someone see you when you're not calm. It's okay to say, "This bothered me." It's okay to ask for support. Calmness is good, but not when it becomes a cage. The goal isn't to stop being calm. The goal is to let your calmness come from a healthy place, not from fear or habit. And once you do that, your calm stops draining you and starts actually helping you. One thing people rarely talk about is how calmness can eventually turn into something much healthier than survival. At first, a lot of us became calm because we had no choice. It was the only way to keep things stable, the only way to protect ourselves. But after enough years of holding yourself together, something shifts. You start realizing that not everything needs a reaction. Not every situation deserves your panic. And honestly, not everything is worth losing sleep over. Little by little, the calm you once used to survive starts turning into something more solid, something that feels like clarity instead of fear. Because when you grow up around chaos or conflict, you learn early how to scan the room and predict what might go wrong. It used to be a defense mechanism, but now as an adult it becomes a kind of emotional radar. You read people faster than others, you sense tension before it shows, you notice the shift in someone's tone even when they're smiling. And while that sensitivity was once heavy to carry, It slowly transforms into insight. You don't just see what's happening, you understand it. Psychologists call this pattern recognition, the ability to connect dots based on past experiences. And honestly, calm people tend to be masters at it. Not because they studied psychology, but because life trained them. They've dealt with enough emotional storms to recognize the early signs of one coming. Most people get blindsided. Calm people see the wave forming long before it hits, and that awareness becomes a kind of quiet strength. But here's the part that feels almost strange. The older you get, the less you're bothered by the things that used to break you. You stop arguing just to be right. You stop trying to explain yourself to people who aren't listening. You stop getting caught up in every small problem or misunderstanding. It's not that you don't care. You just learned the hard way that some battles aren't worth fighting. Peace becomes more valuable than proving a point. And because of that, your calm starts looking different. It's not stiff or tense like before. It's not the "I'm holding everything together" kind of calm. It's softer, warmer, more genuine. It's the kind of calm that comes from understanding yourself, your limits, your triggers, your emotional history. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop checking over your shoulder, waiting for something to go wrong. You realize you've already survived worse than anything you're facing now. At this stage, being calm is no longer about avoiding chaos. It's about choosing where your energy goes. You speak when something matters, not when something provokes you. You walk away when something drains you, not when it scares you. This is what psychologists call emotional maturity. Not being perfect, not being emotionless, just knowing what deserves space in your mind and what doesn't. And here's the beautiful part. Once you reach this point, calmness becomes something you actually enjoy. It's no longer a shield, it's a lifestyle. You find peace in simple routines, in slow mornings, in taking your time. You start appreciating quiet moments the way you used to appreciate distractions. You stop needing constant stimulation just to feel okay. It's like your nervous system finally takes a breath it's been holding for years. If you're someone who had to learn calmness the hard way, here's the good news. It doesn't have to stay tied to old pain. With time and awareness, your calm can evolve from something built on survival to something built on wisdom. And when that happens, you don't just stay calm, you become steady, grounded, and genuinely at peace in a way that feels real, not forced. There's a point in the healing journey where you start realizing something important. Being calm is good, but not if it costs you your emotions. A lot of calm people, maybe people like us, spent years learning how to hold things in, how to keep the peace, how to stay steady no matter what was happening around us. And while that helped us survive, it also made us forget how to express what we actually feel. Part of healing is noticing when your calm is real and when it's just you shutting down, because that's what you've always done. Because staying calm doesn't mean staying silent. It doesn't mean letting everything slide. It doesn't mean pretending something doesn't bother you just to avoid conflict. Calmness is supposed to help you move through life smoothly, not disappear inside your own head. But many of us learned calmness in environments where speaking up made things worse. So even now, as adults, we default to quietness, even in moments where our voice actually matters. That's the part we have to unlearn. There's research from the University of Toronto showing that long-term emotional suppression increases stress hormones like cortisol, even when a person looks perfectly calm on the outside. In other words, staying silent to keep the peace might actually make your mind and body feel more stressed over time. It's easy to assume that calm equals healthy, but if the calm is fake, your body knows it. It feels the tension even when no one else can see it. And maybe you've felt that before, the tightness in your chest, the heaviness in your stomach, the exhaustion after holding everything together for too long. You're calm in the moment, but later you feel drained, like you just ran an emotional marathon. That's because silence isn't always peace. Sometimes silence is just the old habit of protecting yourself, and healing means learning the difference. The truth is, real calmness doesn't ask you to disappear. It asks you to stay present without being overwhelmed. It asks you to express yourself without losing control. It asks you to feel without drowning. And that's a big shift, going from, I have to stay calm so nothing goes wrong, to, I can stay calm because I trust myself. That trust is what takes time to build. A lot of calm people think their emotions are too much, but the real issue isn't the emotions, it's the fear around them. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of being judged, fear of starting conflict. But here's the thing, emotions don't ruin relationships, silence does. Avoiding your feelings creates distance, even when you're trying to keep things peaceful. The more you hide, the more disconnected you feel from others and from yourself. So the real work is learning how to stay calm while still being honest. It's saying, hey, that hurt, without yelling. It's admitting, I'm overwhelmed, without shutting down. It's choosing small moments of vulnerability instead of complete emotional withdrawal. And the more you practice that, the more your calmness changes. It stops being a shield. It becomes connection with yourself and with the people who actually care about you. Because in the end, the goal isn't just to be calm, it's to be whole. It's to live without pretending you're fine when you're not. It's to hold your peace without losing your voice. When you reach that point, calmness becomes something different, not a hiding place, but a home. A place where you're steady, honest, and fully yourself. And that kind of calm, that's the kind that lasts. In the end, being calm isn't about having a perfect life. It's about learning to come home to yourself, even when things get messy. And if any part of this video felt like your story, just know you're not alone in this. We're all still learning, still healing, still figuring things out, one moment at a time. If you want more videos like this, stay with me here. We'll keep exploring the mind together, one layer at a time.